welcome to the Better Life Series podcast. My name is Steve Bisher, and I wanted to talk today about why fun matters. It's a topic that keeps coming up over and over in the recent weeks. It's something that, I kind of focus on because I know that I need a little bit more fun in my life. Sometimes life can get serious when you're in that skilled helping arena. People's problems, people's difficulties, they're heavy, and sometimes it's nice to notice the fun. Wayne Dyer is one of my inspirations in life, and he's often called the father of motivation. If you don't know who he is, he's a teacher, an author, and a speaker. He wrote more than 40 books. One of his more famous one is The Erroneous Zones, The Power of Intention, and there's a spiritual solution to every problem. I liked his kindness, the way that he showed up, and he dedicated his life to helping people see themselves as far more than their problems, more than their limitations. He talked about living from a place of intention rather than a place of fear, about choosing your thoughts that create joy and freedom. And he would talk about this idea of returning to a childlike sense of wonder, curiosity, and play. That idea that spirituality is not something that we visit occasionally, it's woven into our daily living. And I do believe that that's why it's relevant today. We live in time of constant stress, distraction, seriousness. There's so much pressure and pull to divide us and to have us at odds with one another. Wayne Dyer gives us a reminder that we don't have to wait for conditions to be perfect to experience joy. And that experience is more vital now than ever. He often said, "Don't die with your music still in you." And for many of us, that music is joy, it's playfulness, it's laughter, or maybe even connection. That part of us that wants to dance, to sing, to be silly, but gets buried underneath our responsibility. Wayne Dyer had a message, and his message was not about chasing the fleeting happiness, but about choosing an inner state of fun, of presence, of awe, regardless of what's happening outside. It's that idea that we can be at peace in the midst of chaos. There's a theme. Wayne Dyer believed that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Fun is one of the simplest ways to change how we see the world. When we allow fun in, that the same old patterns look different, lighter, more manageable. I think that this is really important because fun is a presence. It's a way of being. It's a state of existing. And when you're laughing or playing, you're not replaying the past. You're not rehearsing what the future might be. You're here in the present, in the now. I do believe that fun transforms seriousness into lightness. It's a single moment of laughter. We feel that. It can shift the day's tension. Every time that I laugh, every time that I really am in a place of deep humor and connection, especially laughing with another, I feel a lighter sensation in my chest. And it's a beautiful feeling. It feels almost as if it's healing. One of the things that I really enjoy is how life connects from one instance to the next. And fun is this idea that's been coming up this week over and over again. We started off on Tuesday. One of the members of the GSE community, Gary Marcus Judge, founded a comedy club within the community to help us learn how to be funnier, how to connect to just the structural process of laughter and humor, but to do it in a way that's healing, to do it in a way that's linked to self-improvement. And then after I noticed this for myself, I realized that when you're talking to somebody that has gone through a difficult time, we can validate them, but their heavy problems and your heavy problems, while it validates, while it makes connection, it still is a heavy energy. And after I left a conversation, I thought, maybe it would be better to help this person shift out for just a brief moment into something lighter, into a better state of being. And I really thought that the next time I talk to this person, I want to ask them, what do they enjoy doing? Link them back to some memories or to some experiences where They might have been laughing, they might have been having fun, and see where that goes, to see if that is maybe not beneficial, right? Lighten up the mood. And this links to my class with Rob McNeilly. It was a hypnotherapy class, and we were talking about different states of being. It amazes me how there's this flow where, as we speak to the people that are in our lives that we have a connection with, it seems as though these messages keep coming through. And it is really one to be honored, this idea of having fun. And this is what the class was about yesterday. It was this idea that fun is a state of being. And sometimes we can utilize that state. We also talked about the fact that if something tragic happens, you can't ask somebody what they enjoy doing, what is fun to them. It's meaningless. And there is a time for sorrow. There's a time for grieving. But there's also a time for laughter. There's a time for playing. And so it's this idea that if we can choose fun, even while all of the heaviness is true and real, sometimes that's beneficial, right? Just that momentary break of, what is it that I want? How do I want to feel in the life in this moment? And I think that that's something that's, important here is, why does fun matter? And to me, again, we go back to this idea that fun is a state of being. It's an experience that our body remembers. It's presence. And when you're laughing or playing, you're not stuck in those old loops. I do believe that fun transforms seriousness into lightness, whether a single moment of laughter or a time when you can't even speak because you're laughing so hard. The times that your eyes fill with tears, sometimes that those experiences can shift you out of days worth of tension. I noticed in Rob's approach that every experience contains a hidden resource. And it's not about judging what is good or bad. It's not about judging what the person is experiencing. Sometimes there can be a hidden resource, the key to what is missing, hidden in any experience. Sometimes it's hidden in the fears. Sometimes it's hidden in the joys, in the laughter, in the fun. Fun is something that often uncovers resilience. He shared that it's a place where we can find creativity or connection, and all of those things waiting to be noticed. It links me back into this idea that fun is not frivolous, it's functional. And that's something that was actually talked about by Jordan Peterson. He has a video where he talks about an animal researcher, and the animal researcher would take a pencil eraser and he would tickle the bellies of rats. And rats laugh. They would, but the problem is they laugh at above our level of hearing. So you have to slow down the sound, and you can actually hear them laughing, and they're giggling with joy. And what this animal researcher found out is that when animals engage, right? So what'll happen is they mismatched rats. So part of this idea was that one rat would want to play with the other. They would do this rough and tumble play. And what they found out is that if they mismatched the rats and had one that was 10% smaller, I believe it was, maybe 20%, when the animals interacted, when they played, if the larger rat didn't let the smaller rat win, at least 20% of the time, the smaller rat would not find it fun. They would quit asking to play. And that play is the overall joy that we have in life. It's something that we're built to experience. Even the animals have this. And it goes into this idea of the reason that we talk about this idea of it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. It's because we're trying to have the maximum amount of fun, the maximum amount of play in our lifetime. And so if going back to the story of the rats, if the bigger rat doesn't let the little rat have some fun, to let them win every once in a while, then the fun stops. And that's why it's important to have fun no matter whether you win or lose. And it's also equally important to have fun even when you're in the midst of sorrow, even when you're in the midst of sadness, of grief, of loss. And it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that it's betraying the situation. It simply means that you are worthy of this life, that you are here, and to celebrate it however it comes. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that you find a little bit of fun in your life.